It's Thursday, September 29th, 2022. Um, I was watching, um, well, I'm thinking my dad mentioned something about early in his working career, and I'm thinking about the video I made yesterday, thinking about Angry Birds, the angry eagle, or the eagle that seemed to be okay, and then the angry guards of the eagle. Then I'm thinking of this piece that uh, I don't remember if CBS or Channel 7 put on. It was NFL related. Um, it wasn't Brady, who has my birthday, but it was, and 1 year older, it was somebody new. His name was Brett Favre. Now, they never put these people on. Brady I see very rarely. And if Alexander hadn't mentioned the birthday thing, I wouldn't have known. So I'm like, now why? Because this Brett Favre person looks familial. And I'm like, hmm. And then they showed something on the TV that in the middle of the field, it didn't have NFL, it had SEC. And I'm like, now that's interesting. Why does a football have SEC when that's market related? I was like, I mean, I had SEC license. They didn't mention anything about NFL. I had my license for NYSE, for NASD, for FINRA, FINRA, and SEC. I had my Series 7 and 66. So this gets confusing because it's inside New York. And I'm like, why does it say SEC on the field? Anyhow, so this is like going on in the background, and I'm like, why would they mention this new familial? And then I look up this new familial's birth, like, profile thing on Google, and he's got my grandfather's birthday, 1010. I'm like, 1010 wins, right? That's an AM station. Now I'm chasing the details of relevance for a relative in what are they doing at like the big board with messaging, and why all of a sudden would they throw this? And I don't know. I mean, I think he's a quarterback also. I don't know if that's a relevant fact in all of this. And piecing together, like, all right, so there's the triplets somewhere. They're in New York. Then there's the Patriot that got sent to Florida for some reason, or Tampa. And then there's now this Viking looking somebody special, but he's 10 years, or he's 9 years older than I am, I think. And I'm like, and he's got my grandfather's birthday. And then they also threw up this week that there's some younger, like Benjamin's age, that's wearing just a number 2. And he's got, his name is Wilson, which reminds me of Castaway and The Ball. And like just the whatever from the Tom Hanks movie. And I'm like, interesting. And then lo and behold, as I'm pondering all of this and how it's relative to humanity, and there's semblance of a reality, again, I don't have access to their level of importance. I mean, like, they all joined the circus. They all were invited to join the circus. They were all lucky enough to be circus performers. I don't live that lifestyle. I'm like one of the, I don't know what. I mean, I worked at the Imperial Manor I worked at a retirement party. They knew that I was the respectful sort. I just don't know why. I got some crazy donkey instead of like a crazy donkey meeting, which I didn't want. And I kept saying, like, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. And then my life just went to hell. I mean, like, where does mitzvah come in any of this? I saw a little girl talking about that the other day, a few weeks back. I mean, again, in like, and then I watched one of the archaeological shows where they mention um, like small little snippets of teaching that I'm trying to thread together a reality here about the Knights Templar and how throughout history they've been like the back workings and the architects and the builders and things. I would expect that that level of human knew some things and some details. Why did they wait so long for Brett Favre to even become a quarterback? What held him out um, as far as relative details? And then now they have on Eyewitness News at 4. I mean, of course, these are all rhetorical questions. It's not like the answers really get thrown back to me, or anybody even like gives me a call and says, hey Nick, you want to know what's going on? So what they did was they put up Eyewitness News. It looks like Jay's wife, Danielle, his new wife, it looks like she was doing some research about Nick's Pizzeria in Rockville Center, which is RVC, just so KNH is aware. Those are my white robe. That was my white robe, by the way, with those initials on it in some Celtic configuration. So it doesn't really have a beginning letter or an end letter, but it is 3 letters of supreme importance for my life, anyway. So, because I know the blue robe and the red robe gets really confusing with diplomatic and with diploma and diplomacy in New York area, which is why, like, I guess a silver or a white color option was given at whatever. I'm not going into material, but so Eyewitness News at 4 put on this journalistic reporter looks like the crazy donkey's new wife. They used a 718 date on the calendar, on the Jason Bourne calendar system. I don't know, like, I was looking last night, my son came home with something and Melbourne came up. I'm like, is there a Melbourne calendar? Because I know there's a Jason Bourne calendar. Hollywood put it out that there was definitely a Jason Bourne calendar here. I know there's Melbourne. I met somebody from Melbourne once, or whatever, that island, since I'm a different island system, and I'm Jason Bourne Island. So I'm watching this, and they're researching why these workers at Nick's Pizza didn't get paid. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with the letter that I got in elementary school that I don't have a copy of and I don't have access to, and I don't know what it said, and I don't know how to research my own whatever, because I don't have like private investigator like capabilities. I'm just still locked in the same like set of rooms that my parents brought me home from the hospital with no further like advancements in this humanity experiment or project. I mean, talk about really pathetic. So I'm watching this parallel story about how somebody's trying to investigate where the pay went with the New York Labor Department for Nick's Pizzeria at RVC, even though the people in this particular thing, I don't know what their real story is. I mean, this could be a real story. How would I know? But again, that's the difference between like, there's a real calendar system of like, how do you guide the planets and humanity and life on this planet and the weather and certain things like that of importance. And then where are the other pieces that are used and have some semblance of reality? So this is from Tuesday, 9/27. That's when they aired it. Eyewitness News, first at 4, which is channel 7.
And I'd done a lot more like voices and character stuff, and I really wanted to.
Eyewitness News investigation. New York State says the owner of a restaurant on Long Island owes his workers hundreds of thousands of dollars in back wages. But for 11 years, they have not seen a dime of it. Eyewitness News investigative reporter Kristen Thorne with more from Rockville Center.
$51,000, $41,000, $41,065. That's what the New York State Department of Labor says these 3 restaurant workers are owed by their former employer, identified in court documents as Nick Angelis of Sunrise Pizza, known as Nick's Pizza in Rockville Center. It's something the Department of Labor ordered Angelis to do 11 years ago in August.
Like, this is like magic, wizard, and wizardry in facts between my grandpa's day and age, my father's day and age, and my day and age, all being here. And then some semblance of reality somewhere in the SEC or whatever that stands for category. I had when Tia Frio first showed up, and there was a night where something happened. People came, oh, the children weren't home, but he invited people over to my house. It was the night Sarah and Jay showed up before they took off to Arizona to get married. And I don't know what happened. All I know is I couldn't move. I was in my bed and I couldn't move. And then I was really, really sick. I wound up actually waking up the next day, not knowing what happened. And for 3 days after that, I could barely get myself together. I was like, what happened while I was sleeping? Because I heard they were all running around the house. So I don't know if they were canvassing my house and they had me knocked out on my bed. I mean, it was really strange, the entire event. And it's like, this guy's in my house. Now what do I do? I mean, like, where do you go? And then, like, you wake up and he pretends like nothing's wrong. So I don't know if he invited people over to canvass my house and rummage through my stuff. I mean, he did not bring a good anything. And this blacksmith. Frank was there, and Frank almost did like the Olympic handoff to Tia Frio in 1975 in some kind of like really disgusting, I don't know. I mean, were they looking for sports paraphernalia? Because I didn't have any. There was one football I used to throw with the kids. Wasn't signed.
2011, but still the workers haven't been paid.
I put too much love this job, and now what's the money?
Eyewitness News, in a joint investigation with Hofstra University's online news site, the Long Island Advocate, found that Angeles owes 8 former workers more than $283,000 in back wages. These workers say for years they would work 60, 70 hours a week and were paid a flat rate that amounted to well below minimum wage. They say when they spoke up, they were told they would be fired.
Dice, you want, you no go,
They treat people like animals.
The workers filed a complaint with the Department of Labor in 2009. 2 years later, the department found Angelus in violation of state wage laws and ordered him to pay up. He didn't, and last year, a Nassau County Supreme Court judge ordered the Department of Labor to recover the money for the workers. And yet still, they haven't received any money.
In this case, an employer has gotten away with stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars, at the very least, from these workers, and has had.
Now, if that's the government, how do you ever survive this? I mean, like, this is just a pizzeria, got that. But in some hybrid overture of there was a letter, there were signs of people who cared at one point. What interests they're protecting, I have no idea. I seem to be at the abused end of all of this. Never know why. And nothing ever seems to get better. And I have no way of protecting myself. I have no way of surviving, like, by myself. It seems that they prepare and they participate and they care about all of these other children all over the world and here and bring them here. But it doesn't seem like any care's been put into my life frame.
Absolutely nothing.
The Department of Labor said in a statement to Eyewitness News, "We are actively working on this case and prepared to pursue all available measures to ensure these workers are paid what they are owed."
Hi, how are you? Is Nick here?
We went to Nick's Pizza ourselves to ask Angelus why he hasn't paid the workers.
So they just locked the door because I said I was going to come back in and try to talk to them about the documents.
So we went through the back door.
Nick is not here.
There is an uncanny resemblance to this reporter and the wife of whatever. It is just amazing how the wizards of the TV networks are able to figure out who to put on schedule at market maker and SEC level for security, whatever, and get them out in the field to do some whatever. What does it actually equate out to and mean? I have no idea. Is there any relief ever in my life frame? I have no idea. I'm not at that level of knowing things. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.